Hi there, I'm Michaela McLean, and this is an introduction to your human design energy type. I'm an auric esthetician, and my work focuses on the cultivation of inner beauty using methods such as human design, astrology, Reiki, meditation, yoga nidra, sound healing, crystals, essential oils, and so much more. But a little background before we dive in. I grew up a ballet dancer, which unfortunately left me with an eating disorder, mental health issues, and very low self worth. As a young adult, I found myself in the beauty industry, which is probably not the healthiest place for someone like me. Now, I've been a licensed master esthetician in the state of Washington for 2 decades, specifically working in dermatology and plastic surgery. A real beauty is pain, let me laser your face off kind of gal. A lifelong self professed beauty junkie who always thought another laser or injectable would finally help me be content with myself, but that never happened. And as much as I loved all my years of helping make people feel beautiful on the outside, I always knew there was something missing, both for myself and my patients. My personal journey somehow led me to human design, and the discovery of this system has been such a huge blessing in my life because it led me to stop seeking an external fix and finally recognize my own inner beauty. It has helped me quantum leap into self love and acceptance. And that's what's so cool. Sitting with and studying my own very specific and unique human design, I have learned that that's my role to play here on earth. I'm here to empower others to love and accept themselves from the inside out, but only after learning how to do it for myself. In my experience, human design is nothing short of life changing, but the change can't be rushed. It must be integrated and embodied on a cellular level over time. So let's get started at the beginning. I'm going to introduce you to your own design at the highest level. This video will cover your type, strategy, authority, not self signature, and some deconditioning tips. Don't know what any of that means yet. Don't worry, we're going to cover it all. And for those who do know, this is a great refresher to reacquaint yourself with the fundamentals, the most important elements we need to live out in our day-to-day lives. I have a friend who, after her initial one-on-one human design session with me, said that I am like a hype girl for the universe, and it's true. I get so excited to introduce people to this incredible wisdom, and it tickles me to know the positive chain reaction this is going to set off in your life. So let's get into it. Let me do my job, and let's get you high on you. All right, so what is human design? Human design is a synthesis of ancient wisdom and modern science. So, on the ancient wisdom side, we have astrology, specifically Western astrology, the I Ching, the Kabbalah, and the Hindu Brahman chakra system. And then the modern science is quantum mechanics, it's astronomy, genetics, biochemistry. I really like to think of it as your energetic DNA, that is how you are wired. So, what it is not, it's not a religion or a cult. It's not a belief system. There's nothing in it you need to believe. It's a science experiment. Just take it, play it, try with it. Try it out. It's not fortune telling, and you're not predicting the future. This is really more of a blueprint of your potential. And it's not a personality test or quiz. This is it's not the Enneagram, it's not the Myers-Briggs. So the functions of human design, it is known as the science of differentiation. It is everything that makes you up that's so specific and uniquely you. That whole uh, conglomeration of things that really come together to create a unique individual. And like I said before, it's totally objective. It's based on your time, date, and place of birth. Unlike a personality test, we experience a lot of conditioning, and those personality tests speak to who we think we are, who we believe we are, who we've become over time, rather than who we really are at our core, who we've been conditioned to think we are by the world around us, by school, friends, society, so on and so forth. It really helps to shed light on how you are wired, right? Your decision-making style, your energy levels, and at the end of it, I feel like the biggest gift is that it creates so much compassion for yourself. You learn to love and accept yourself, in my opinion, with this, and then also understand that every single other person in the world also has their unique design, and it gives you so much compassion for others. It also helps you identify your key strengths, your talents,
again, the special things that make you up as an individual. And then you can highlight that. You can use that in your everyday life. You can use that in business. I say use it, but really it's about the embodiment of it. And then when you come into alignment with you, with that blueprint, magic just starts to happen. So again, the functions, it really is this user's manual for you. It's like you've been given the instructions or the rule book, the guidebook for you and your makeup. I personally really see it as a shortcut to healing and wholeness. It allows these quantum leaps to happen of self-love, self-acceptance, like I said, the embodiment of just you being okay with you, and which is truly the greatest gift. Like I said, your special qualities, your gifts, even your purpose. It really is a system to help you love and accept yourself and others. I wholeheartedly believe that, and that has been my biggest takeaway from my years spent in this experiment. Definitely knowledge for how to help you live your best life with the least amount of resistance. And I also see it uniquely as a diagnostic tool for holistic beauty. When coming from aesthetics and everything always being about the outside, and then you discover all these magical things that maybe nobody ever praised you on, you maybe took for granted, it was never acknowledged, and you realize those are all the things that make you up energetically, that make you beautiful from the inside out. So I jokingly say it's like therapy on steroids. And why human design now? Why is it exploding? We're living in a world that is evolving. Times are changing. In human design, there are specific time periods of a little over 400 years, and we are approaching the end of one, right? So 2027 is part of human design. It's a very important year, and it is a time period where we change time periods. We are going from a very tribal time to a time that is about the individual. And why this is really important is that the period that we're in has to do with structures and building things together. And in the last few years, we've all seen this really kind of crumble before our eyes, how things are absolutely, without a doubt, shifting. And so we need to learn to live as our own authority. So we're moving into this time period of an individual. And I definitely see, it's like influencers and things like that. That's all going to go away. We're going to all realize, especially when we come in alignment with ourselves, we don't need anyone else outside of us telling us what to think, telling us what to do. Um, we are our own authorities. There will be no, gurus outside of that. And so it's very deeply, deeply, deeply empowering. And that's the magic of something in design about being an individual, is that it's about empowerment, and it also coincides with the, air quotes, Aquarian age in astrology. um, Aquarius is like, yes, it's humanity, it's for the people, but at the same time, it's about all of us coming together as unique, fully embodied individuals. I'm good with me, you're good with you. We accept, we can love each other, but we don't have to be the same. We don't have to belong to the same group, the same anything. It's pretty amazing. It's just like, let your freak flag fly, be yourself, and let's all love each other for it. Um, as I said, individual self-love and acceptance has a ripple effect on others. When you come into alignment and that true embodiment with yourself, you are energetically giving permission to everyone around you to do the exact same thing. So deeply empowering, which then in turn raises the frequency of the world. There is a 7-year cycle. This is always really important. I like to point this out when I'm introducing people to design, because the stress is, oh my gosh, I have to understand all of this. I need to be living this immediately. No, it's a science experiment. Like I said, there's nothing you have to believe. The real magic is actually experimenting with it, seeing how, when you approach life the way maybe you always have versus kind of the awareness of some of these new things, and how it does or doesn't impact your life, positive or maybe not so positive. Um, and the only way you can get there is actually by experimenting. You actually have to live it out. So very important to always remember that. And like I said, the whole thing's a science experiment. And that 7-year cycle is it's like it takes the cells in your body to renew fully that's 7 years. And so to kind of strip away all of the things that we have been conditioned to believe our entire lives, it's a long process and it never really stops, to be honest. But I am at this point, 2022, I'm going on like 7 years in my experiment, and it's quite fascinating. And absolutely, I don't think it stops. You find all the places though that you see it and you have awareness now, and you can bring your attention to the things that you're like, yeah, that's actually out of alignment with my design, and I know how good it feels to live in alignment with it, and I make better choices, and my life is just easier. It flows better when I adhere to my own personal instruction manual. So, one really important thing on all of that, human design is extremely heady, extremely intellectual, extremely complicated. It's a system. Um, so it's almost about exhausting the mind in a sense, because at the end of the day, it is not meant to be lived or comprehended from the mind, not at that conscious level. You're not supposed to be up in your mind thinking about things that don't matter. Again, this is about the experiment, living it from an embodied place, like really being in your body. Your body is it's your antenna. It is the vehicle or the vessel that you've been placed in to experience life. And our bodies are so incredibly wise. We don't give them the credit that they deserve. Um, and when we get into authority, we'll really speak to that. So we have the passenger, which is your mind. This is a huge human design concept, a little bit further along than this intro video, but the passenger is our mind. It's who we think we are. The vehicle is our body that is really like living out and guiding us. And the driver is um it is something called our magnetic monopole. And when I talk about it, it's this thing that really brings everything loving and beautiful our way if we would just get out of our own way, right? It is something that takes us along what is called like the unique geometry of our life. Like we have a path and we just need to relax and enjoy the ride. That's a famous human design quote. Just get out of your own way, relax and enjoy the ride. Let your body do what it's designed to do. So these videos are intro to our human design type, our aura type, our energy type. It gets referred to as a few different things. But like I said, it's just an introduction to your aura type. Your aura, really, you can think of it almost like this vehicle that you ride around in, that you experience life through, and how others experience you as well, how you engage with life. Learning about your type, again, instruction manual, how to operate in alignment. And I do always tell people there's no one type, trait, gate, authority, whatever you want to put, like whatever it is, there's no one thing that's better than another. It's truly, it's truly like every single thing in the chart it's two sides to the same coin. There is a high expression and there's a low expression. And you can learn things about yourself. You're like, oh my gosh, yes, I do that. It's like, great. But you also have the free will and the embodiment, the ability to animate all of those things in a very high expression way as well. So it's really beautiful because you realize you're just wired that way, and I can choose the low vibe or the high vibe expression of every single thing in my chart. So also, this is just learning how to do you to the best of your ability, right? Choose that high expression anytime that you're able to, and experience the least amount of resistance going through life. Make life easier on yourself. All right, the generator masterclass. So, to start with, what is in a chart for a generator? Here we have my chart. We have type, says generator. On genetic matrix, it says it will say pure or emotional here. But you're just looking at generator, no matter what site you're pulling chart from. And we have strategy, which is wait to respond. Then we have our authority, again, genetic matrix, which is what I use. It's going to say pure or emotional. So pure is sacral authority, and emotional means you have emotional authority. So signature versus not self. We have satisfaction versus frustration. And then what makes someone a generator? So this guy right here is always going to be colored in on a generator's chart. But we do not have one of the motors. So there are 4 motors in the body graph, the sacral being the big guy, that is our tummy, our gut. But the other motors are the root, the solar plexus here, the heart, also known as the will or the ego center, and not a single one of those is directly connecting up to the throat. So a generator can have this colored in brown. They can have their throat defined. However, it's not going to be directly connected through a full channel, right? Over here, we've got a full channel. It's not going to have a full channel connecting from a motor to the throat. So that's just important. If we did have that, that would make us a manifesting generator. So just FYI on the difference. I always laugh my type. I'm profile. I'm a 4-1. I love the details. It's built in me. So you get a little extra. All right. So the aura, right? Our energy type, how we exchange energy with the world around us, how we engage and how life engages with us. So, as generators, I always like to say we are the feel good energy people. We have these auras that are, big, open, inviting. They're traditionally known as open and enveloping. And I always say it's like a cashmere blanket. It's like, oh, when we are feeling good, when we're high on life, we feel amazing, and that energy is infectious. It's like a cashmere blanket. Other people want to get in there, wrap up, curl up, and snuggle in with us. Um, that big open aura is super magnetic, and we are a wealth of power, stamina, energy to create, especially creation and nurturing over time. We can really go the distance. And when I say that, that's because we have that sacral, that gut defined, and it's amazing, at giving us consistent life force energy. So we are built to work, which is like, but work, it's like what's funny about it is like work is supposed to be what we truly love, right? It's not supposed to be a dirty 4-letter word. What that really means, if you feel like, oh, I don't want to go to work, you're like, oh, you're not doing work that you love. You're not doing the thing that draws you in, that lights you up, that sort of sets you on fire. And that is a really important thing we're going to talk about. So as generators, as regular pure generators, we go deep, not necessarily wide. That's kind of with our sisters, the manifesting generators, they're kind of more wide, not deep. We're deep, not wide, I also say they're like the tortoise and the hare. We're the tortoise and they're the hare. So it's really important for us that we are giving all of our energy, putting it into what we love, which actually helps us generate, there's where that word comes from, generate more good, positive energy. And we have this ability to go all day, 8, 10, 12 hours a day, 7 days a week when we're doing what we love. That's always the catch, right? It has to be something that gives us life. So then therefore we want to do it. And the right work, like I said, it gives us life. It's also anti-aging, which is really fun. It keeps us young and youthful. So good to know, right? Generators, we are designed to respond from the sacral center. We're designed to be led by our gut. And it is our body physically indicating, do I have energy for this? Because we will actually physically be drawn and pulled toward things, and then other things we won't, and it's our job to be aware enough of what that is and isn't, right? And not fight it with the mind. So sacral sounds are really important to us. We're the people like, yeah, sounds good. And then they'll be like, when we don't. It's our gut is having this reaction. So really important for us. We are not the 20 questions people. Like, don't give me 20 options, give me two. Do I want pizza or sushi? Do I want coffee or tea? We're kind of the black, white, yes or no, either or people. Which is quite entertaining, It's hard for us when we have too many options. We're just like kind of narrow things down because our body will know. It will be pulled toward something. So we are meant to be masters of our craft over time. And I cannot stress the overtime thing enough. Like I said, we're the ones that go slower. We're the tortoise. We grow things over the long period. And so we're meant to kind of, like I said, be masters of our craft. We're meant to perfect things methodically, going step by step by step, really following, the process. And when we put energy and effort into what we love, we will grow that over time. Now, really important to know is that we experience plateaus. That is how a generator works. We have this tendency also to give up out of frustration before we reach mastery, right? We're like, oh my God, I'm not making any progress. Nothing's happening. I'm not going anywhere. And you're like, no, you are. We're just not aware of it. So sometimes I'll describe it to people like, like a little ant trying to climb a human set of stairs. And it's like, oh, I'm going along, going along, going along. I'm not getting anywhere. Nothing's happening, And then all of a sudden you'll like go up a step and you're like, what? I up leveled, I gained new skills, I've mastered, I've leveled up, I've, just boom, like I've expanded. And then we'll go into that quiet place again, feeling like nothing's happening. So very important to kind of be aware. I need to hear this myself frequently because I'll think, gosh, I'm not getting anywhere. I'm not making any progress. And you're like, no, you are putting in the day-to-day work. You are showing up every day. You're making the teeny tiny, if each day is like one grain of sand, you're like, well, eventually you're going to have a beach. So like stick with things. Don't be a quitter if it's what you really love. So, our strategy, right? All right. So, here we are, these feel good energy people. We generate all this beautiful, positive, sparkly energy that other people want access to. How do we go and kind of like do that? So, our strategy is wait to respond. We are waiting to respond to things that show up in our external reality. So important. External reality. That means outside of my physical body. This is not an idea I had. This is not something I dreamt up. These are things that are really coming in the 3D, right? And giving me something to respond to. They're crossing my path, and I'm like, ooh, yeah, or no, right? Um, we as generators, we are not designed to have a 5-year plan. We're not even designed to know what we want for dinner tonight. Because why? It's not in front of us right now. So this whole waiting to respond thing is like, I'm waiting for a knock at the door. I'm waiting for the telephone ring. You're scrolling on Instagram. You see something, you're like, oh, I'm going to double tap that. You open the curtains. It's a sunny day. It's a rainy day. You're going to have a different response. You turn on the car. It's like there's a song on the radio. Well, I like that song. I'm going to turn it up. Nope, don't like that song. I'm turning it off. Hear a commercial. Oh, that sounds good for dinner. It's like we're just constantly in response. And that's what's cool is like when you realize we're never not responding to things. There's always something to be responding to. There's always a stimulus in our environment to give us a natural response. And we just want to pay attention that we're choosing the next one that feels really good to us. So I had an epiphany a few years ago. I'm 6+ years into my science experiment, my design experiment. And one day I was like, oh, it's just the universe leaving us breadcrumbs. It's God. It's the divine. It's whatever name you give that energy. It is leaving you specific breadcrumbs with your name on it, the ones that feel really good. And you're like, my job is only to pay attention, to have my eyes open and noticing which next one feels good. So I always say it's like in Frozen 2, Anna sings the song, The Next Right Step. When you don't know what to do, what's the next right step? I don't have a 5-year plan. I'm really trying to be in the moment, living moment to moment, paying attention to what feels good to me and knowing that that's the signpost. That's the stuff that's drawing me along my personal path. And I also think that we get so tied up in thinking that 5-year plan that's not really for us anyway, that we miss the fact that we're meant to be paying attention to what's in the here and now and allowing that to lead us, right? We don't actually know what ultimately is meant for us. We just need to follow our bliss, essentially. So like I said, we're never not responding. There's always something to respond to. And it's not a passive practice. It's like when you really start kind of wake up to the fact that there's always something in life giving you that stimulus to respond to, you're going to be blown away, right? And like I said, we're so caught up in like the big thing, the big overarching plan that we miss the fact that there's the magic in the mundane. It's like when I'm honoring my happiness and my excitement every day, moment to moment, that's the thing. That's like this little fairy that I'm chasing, that's correct for me. I always think, I am of a certain age, and being a child of the 80s, it's like Michael Jackson in the Billie Jean videos. Every time he would, step on that cement block and it would light up. And like that's kind of how we know. It's like if I step in the direction of that thing and I light up, I'm like, yes. But if I do and I don't get that feeling, I don't have that light within me, that's not correct. And you just have to trust that. So authority, right? Okay, so we're the feel good energy people. We wait to respond. Now, how do we know? How do we know it's the right thing for us, right? So this is who's your boss? Your authority is your ultimate decision maker. It is like the CEO of you. So, right, if strategy is how I go about it, I'm waiting to respond. Authority is the one that's like, yep, girl, that's the one. And spoiler alert, no matter what type you are, 100% of us are never designed to make decisions from our mind. This is a body thing. This is the wisdom that lives within us. So generators only have two possibilities. We are either going to be emotional authorities or sacral authorities. There are other authorities that exist within the chart, but for our particular type, it's just those two. So if you're an emotional authority, you're always riding what's called an emotional wave. And this is a mechanical process that happens to and through you, but you're not in charge of it. So it's like you have these emotional highs and lows, but you're not the person that like chose it, right? It's kind of like, okay, God's the DJ. What music am I listening to? I didn't pick the song. I'm just waiting for the song to finish playing. So really important that you, if you're an emotional authority, you understand that you are not designed to make decisions in the moment. You need time. Time is your best friend. You need the time to feel out your emotional highs and lows. You need time for that wave to kind of like peak, crash, and go through its process. So what you're really waiting on is neutral clarity. The time when it's like things are no longer emotionally charged. You're not feeling super high, you're not feeling low, you're just in that beautiful in-between place where it's not a big deal anymore, right? And I like to remind emotional authorities that feelings are not facts, nor are they final. Emotional authorities understand it's all subject to change. So it's like, all right, there's power in waiting. And I do like to point out, it's like when I'm working one-on-one with people, we can get way more into detail with what your wave is and way more clues. But overall, just knowing you're an emotional authority, it's like, all right, pump the brakes, slow down. The power for you is in waiting, and what is meant for you is not going to pass you by. So that's really important because I think emotional authorities get a little concerned or worried, like, oh my gosh, if I say no, if I don't give them an answer right now, we live in a world that wants an answer yesterday. If I slow down, which is correct for me and my design, those things are going to pass, they're going to be gone. And it's like, no, things that are meant for you will still be there. The people, the things, the opportunities that wait you out will still be there. So I always say it's like have language in your back pocket. Hey, sounds great. I'm going to get back to you tomorrow, or let me take the weekend to think this over. You know what? Love it, but let me get back to you next week. Whatever you have to say that's really going to just buy you some time, you be ready with it. And I do also say it's like if all you can get is 5 minutes, you take the 5 minutes. You take as much time as you can get, and you don't allow other people to pressure you. It's kind of funny because when you wait it out, it's like you're playing hard to get, and that's actually attractive to the right people, the right opportunities. So the idea is that you're at least, at minimum, sleeping on things. You know, like I said, time's on your side. Now, the cruel joke for emotional authorities is that they are never 100% sure about anything, right? Feelings aren't facts. It's subject to change. I know that I have a high now. I'm going to be in a low today, tomorrow. It's like the way I feel right now, probably not how I'm going to feel tomorrow or a week from now. And when you have that awareness about yourself, it can really help, give you some distance. You're like, okay, cool. I'm not expecting myself to be 100% sure ever. So where am I shooting for? 80%. Okay. So ideally, you're at least sleeping on medium on up decisions. I don't think I've mentioned that yet, but I would say it's like emotional authority. The bigger the decision, the more important it is to wait things out. Okay, not be impulsive, because you're going to have a gut reaction. That's the thing. You're a sacral authority, so you hear go with your gut, but ultimately, like that's the VP. This is the head honcho. This is the CEO. So it's like, yeah, I had a gut reaction in the moment. Great, okay, but how do I feel about it over time? Right. And so what you're aiming for is that 80% sure. So you're at least sleeping on things. But if you wake up the next day and you're like, I'm still only 50-50, you haven't had enough time. You're not at that emotionally clear place. So it may be another night. It may be two, it may be three. Again, one-on-one, you can really get into like, more details on the waves and see some people, it can be a variety of things, but I encourage people to kind of track themselves. It's almost like, if you were keeping track of your menstrual cycle, it's like, wow, yeah, I really do follow this kind of like up and down pattern. Some are spiky, some really build, some drop off. There's a whole variety of things going on there. But and down below, like I said, sacral beings, we always have this in the moment gut reaction, but you would need time to feel it out. Excuse me. Um, and if somebody's like, do you want to go grab coffee? Do you want to do, something like low stakes? Go with your gut, sure. But the more weight, the more consequence that these decisions have, the more you want to slow down. Okay. Um, and like I said, basically having things too, that help you. It's like moving your body is going to help you move and process emotions. I also really encourage bergamot oil. That's one of my all-time favorite essential oils, like diffusing that. That's really going to help kind of bring your baseline up. You're always going to have the highs and lows. It's not about suppressing them or getting rid of them. That is not the point. Your feelings are here to inform you of things. They're here to give you intel. But you just don't want to over-identify with it. Oh, I'm so sad, or I'm so high. And it's like, you're the receiver. It moves through you. And making places from that neutral, calm, clear place is where you want to do it. You guys are also the emotional thermostats for your environment. So it's important that you kind of have this emotional intelligence, that you really do understand and build that up over time. All right. So then we have sacral authority. This is me. We are truly the go with your gut people. So this is our head. This is our head honcho, right? We are designed to make decisions in the moment. It is black or white, yes or no, either or. Uh-huh, uh-uh. That simple. We are not logical or predictive. It's not about having a conversation. The gut just is responding to what is in front of it in the present moment. It's physical expansion. You sit up in your chair. Ooh, I like that. Or, I don't. You make that sound. You make a face. You pull back. You can feel that contraction in your gut, right? So again, for us, it's the excitement leads the way. I think if you're a sacral generator like me, I laugh. We are simple creatures. It is so simple. But, yet again, everybody hears the go with your gut. And in reality, we've been conditioned to believe that, or not believe, you hear the gut thing, but then we're honoring the mind all the time. And you will notice when you hop right in there, you're like, I feel expansive toward this thing. And instantly, oh, no, can't do this because I should do that, or vice versa. My gut contracts, it pulls back. And yet my mind is like, no, you should do this or you should do that. You have to. And it's been really interesting observing myself over these last number of years. Is like when really cool things happen and I have this totally spontaneous gut reaction. I squeal, I'll do a little dance. I'm like, that was not my mind. My mind did not tell me to do this little shimmy. I'm like, I'm really excited. My body is reacting. And then also, because sometimes you'll see things about this and people be like, it's a full body yes, or, if it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no. And I'm like, I don't buy into that. I have really noticed the subtle cues in myself where sometimes it's subtle. I'll feel that tiny contraction. I'll feel my gut tighten up, but I could easily miss that or brush it off. So it's cool when you really dial into the subtle cues. Yes, sometimes it does feel huge, and other times it's not. But just knowing that it's there, it's in your body, and it's not in your mind. All right, so our not self versus our signature, and this is our warning light versus our happy place. So the not self, I think of as like the red flag, it's the warning light, it's where we're off track, where we don't want to be operating from. It's like, hey, it's the GPS being like, girl, you're trying to go 20 miles down the wrong road. Like, let's get back on track. So the not self for generators is frustration. And I laugh. I'm like, I'm pretty sure this word is part of all of our vocabulary. It's like, oh, I'm so frustrated. I'm like, we're not angry people. We're frustrated people. It comes as again, there's the sacral sounds, the heavy sighs. Uh, uh. That sound is, I don't have energy for this. I'm trying to make myself do something I don't want to do. It comes as feeling stuck, feeling stagnant. My life's not going anywhere. Nothing's happening. I'm not making any progress. I'm frustrated. Right? I'm hitting a plateau. I'm ready to give up. Feeling tired all the time. This is an interesting one because we're people that have a natural well of energy. So if we're tired all the time, you want to look at like what's draining my energy versus what's helping me generate more good positive energy. And I do like to touch on this with people because it could be like, yeah, my life circumstances is like at this point, I have a job. Maybe it's not the job that I'm over the moon about, but where can I sneak in other sources of generating good positive energy and happiness? It's moving your body, right? It's putting on some good disco and going for a walk. It's you're sneaking in other great ways of helping generate some good energy by things that you love to do and sort of supplementing until maybe someday you're able to get to that point where your work is what you love. I'm like, generators, we're do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life, people. So anyway, sorry, back to the regularly scheduled programming. Physical frustration, right? So we do physically make a lot of energy, and if we're not moving our bodies, we're not discharging and using up its energy. So I describe that as like, you need physical medicine that feels good to you. If you don't love going to the gym, that's not what you're meant to do. But put the music on, disco dance, go for a swim, yoga, whatever it is you like to do. Puts a smile on your face. This falls in the category of work, right? I'm working at what I love. So do it, do more of it. And then people pleasing. Oh my goodness. We're always putting other people's needs before our own. Shoulds, duties, obligations, all of those things. And what winds up happening is that we're draining ourselves of our good positive energy. We're not generating anymore. We're just being sucked dry. Okay. So when you kind of recognize those themes, that's frustration in many, many forms, right? And I say it's like make friends with the not self. It sounds bad. It sounds negative. Ooh, frustration. I don't want that. You're like, mm-mm. This is like the empty light coming on in the car. You're like, oh, I need to know that. I don't want to keep driving with that if that light's broken and I don't know. I need to get gas, right? I don't want to be stranded. So think of it that way. It's trying to help you, it's trying to protect you. It's a safety mechanism, right? Hey, feeling it in any of its forms. Let's go back to strategy and authority because strategy and authority in human design, it's the golden rule. There's so many cool things to know beyond what this video is about in your own very unique specific chart, but none of it means anything if you're not living your strategy and authority. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to ask ourselves, did I let life come to me? Right? Did I wait to respond? Or did I try to force, push, initiate, hustle, grind, what have you? Immediately, this is us going off track. You're like, I tried to take action for my mind rather than waiting, getting out of my own way and letting things come to me and then letting my body respond. Right. So then what did my authority say? Did I honor it or did I let my mind take the wheel? Did I feel so expansive about this thing that just poof, it was in front of me? But then immediately, no, no, because I have to do this or I should do that, or vice versa. The thing makes me contract, it makes me pull back, it makes me go, ugh, ugh, I don't want to do that. And my mind goes, no, you have to. Right? You will notice. I mean, it's so funny. I say once you see this, you can't unsee it. It will just change everything. And you're like, wow, I do so much not selfing. The cool thing is it improves over time, again, with your awareness, but just really paying attention to what's going on here. So our signature, right? So this is hashtag goals. Gas tank is now on full. This is in alignment. This is where we want to be operating from. And for all generators, it is satisfaction. So this is just us feeling content, lit up, happy, right? Pouring our energy into something that we're devoted to growing over time, knowing that we're not speed racers. Okay. We build methodically, we build slowly, but it's worth the while. Contently working away at being the master. We're meant to be masters of our craft. So putting in that work, showing up day in, day out, just being devoted, using up all of our energy each day, both through work, through physical medicine, and being able to fall into bed exhausted at night. Like for us, use the tank of gas up every night, drop into bed. Ah, check, check, check. Love it. Can't wait to wake up tomorrow, do it all over again. We recharge overnight. And then, like I said, moving our body in a way that puts our smile on our face. If going and crushing it at the gym is not your idea of a good time, it's certainly not mine, but I've been a dancer. I love to move my body. I want to do yoga. I want to swim. I want to dance. I want to walk. I want to do all of those things. The gym isn't for me. However, there are people who love that. I'm like, girl, go hit the gym then. But whatever it is, if you're a generator, we just need to be moving our bodies. It's helping us process that energy and actually generating more positive energy for us and all the people around us. And then, of course, honoring our own happiness and excitement. The more good energy that we generate, the more that we are adding to the world's collective pot, and it's helping everyone. So, a little not self story. I love to tell this story to generators because I think it's super important. So, I've been an esthetician, medical esthetician for 20 years, and I was in dermatology, plastic surgery, very, very medical settings. And that is what I loved deeply. And I was a master of my craft, right? So, when I was in plastics, that was the last, handful of years of my work really being, in a clinic in the treatment room. And on paper, everything looked amazing. The practice I worked for, wonderful. Love the doctors I worked for. Love my patients that I had for 15 plus years. I'd gotten to the point where I only saw people that I adored. I only did the procedures that I loved, lasering, that's my favorite stuff. So the issue is that everything looks amazing on paper, but yet when I would go to work, I would feel that gut contraction, which is like pulling back, like, I don't want to go. Like if I was really listening to my body did not want to go. But my mind was like, well, this is what you do. Everything's great. What do like, what's the issue? What would you be complaining about? This is what you've been working toward for so long. You have to go take care of your patients. You have to do this, you have to do that. And it was so wild because it was really that the head and the gut being at odds, you know? And it only took me about 3 years as a generator, right? To realize I was like, oh my God, I've fallen out of love with my work. So this brings me to my point is that generators, we are the great quitters. That is the founder of human design, Ra Uru, would be like, yep, they're the great quitters. So if you're feeling that contraction against something, it's like what I want you to kind of pay attention to is am I just frustrated? Right? Am I in a plateau? So like, oof, if that's the case and you still love that thing that you were so devoted to, put your head down, keep going. Don't give up. Know that you are in a quiet period. You are going to master, up level. You're going to just bump up again and again and again and again over time. However, if you're like me then, and you realize, oh, shoot, I have fallen out of love with my work. It no longer brings me joy. And um, this is it. That's a different conversation to have. Of course, these are things that I like to deal with people in one-on-one because there's so many clues in your chart of, what you're really created for. Anyway, we can dial into that. So love it, keep going. No more lovey. Time to swap. All right, so deconditioning, which is I consider this cleaning up our vibration. So things to remember, right? It's like we want to use our energy up in satisfying ways all day, every day. We want to move our bodies to discharge that physical medicine. People pleasing, that is one of our biggest hangups. We're the feel good energy people. Of course, we've been praised to make people happy from the time we are children. So we have to learn how to say no to things that really don't bring us joy. It seems selfish. It's not selfish. It is actually really positive. It's like I'm actually only helping people when um, yeah, when I'm bringing that good positive energy with me everywhere I go. And if I'm only doing things that drain me, I'm not going to do that. So eliminating those shoulds, duties, obligations, the have tos. Like I said, yeah, doing what you love is the least selfish thing you can do because you are actually generating positive energy to add to the collective pot that is going to nourish everyone. So don't quit or give up on the things that you are correctly committed to. So entering into things through our strategy and authority is so important for us because really what it is like our body's letting us know, I have energy for this, or no, I do not. Right? The mind's going to tell you a different story, but your body knows, and you need to begin working on trusting your body. And in the beginning too, if this is all new to you, it's like you're gonna get it wrong. You absolutely will. You catch yourself doing it. But what's cool is, like I said, you can't unsee it. You will be aware from here on out. Oh, that was me giving into the I should, right? Versus I want to. I am excited about this. And then of course, devoting yourself to mastering the craft that you love. And if you don't know what that is, that's okay. It's like allow life to bring you things and give you stuff to respond to. Not too long ago, I was saying to a friend, I was like, I had no idea I love podcasting, but I didn't know because I'd never done it before. And then all of a sudden I do it and I'm like, oh my God, this is so fun. I love this. I love long format. I'm a line one. I love the details. I want to get into all the stuff. And this is the perfect way to do it. So kind of fun when life just surprises you and gives you new things to get excited about and to master. So just pay attention. So for sacral beings, I'm always like, be the shamus. What does that mean? So this is another little story I love to tell. When my kids were in preschool, both my kids are now grade school age, but my daughter is the older one. So when her first year at our preschool, it's this Waldorf Steiner hippie all outdoor school, the most amazing place ever, and I wish I could be there every day myself as an adult. But they would learn about all of the traditions, the religions, all of those things. So first winter, they're learning about Hanukkah, and she comes home and she is just obsessed with Hanukkah, just hardcore Hanukkah. To the point, like my mom bought her a menorah and all the candles because she just was wild about it. She loved it so much. And I was like, this is so cute. Like, what's this about? I'm like, I don't know, but I'm here for it. And this pre-COVID, I would go to Circle Time all the time. And so I'm like, I gotta investigate. I gotta find out what this is. So somehow I go, right? And I don't remember how when it clicks or whatever. I just know that it did. And my daughter is a sacral generator just like me. And it hits me. I was like, oh my God. She's obsessed with the shamus candle. And like the shamus is the candle that lights the other candles. And I'm like, just suddenly this big light bulb comes on. I'm like, that's what it means to be a generator. You're like, our purpose as generators in this world is to be the light. It's to be so lit up and have this energy going. And it's like, we have this ability to infect in a positive way. We go out and light other people's candles, but we can't do that if we're not lit up ourselves. You know, if that shamas does not have a flame, it's not gonna light anybody up, and so I would say that it's like the warm body zombie syndrome. I can show up and I'm like, "Oh, I'm here to do the thing I should do. I'm here to whatever you want from me," instead of, I have my own inner flame going, and it's so strong, and I'm so in love with my own life and how I get to spend my energy doing the things that I do, that I cannot help but just be shooting flames off in every direction, right? And everybody gets to benefit from that. And also as generators, is like oftentimes we don't have the benefit of knowing how we did impact somebody. You know, it's just kind of this trust of like, wow, if I'm tending to and stoking my own inner flame by again feeding it with things that I love, I can't help but have that impact. My aura is just giving off the good vibes and it's going to help everybody. So like I said, it is our responsibility. Doesn't matter what your job title is, right? For me, is not being an esthetician. It's not doing what I do now. It's the fact that I'm so in love with what I do now that it cannot help but like be infectious to other people. Heck, half the time they don't even know what I'm talking about, but they just know like I like the vibes are so strong. Like I have the biggest right now, I have the biggest smile on my face because I just love this. I love the fact that I'm like, people are going to listen to this and hopefully it's going to ignite something with them and we're going to pass that along. So be the Shabbos. All right. So, little recap. We are the feel good energy people, right? We've got that big, warm, sparkly, inviting cashmere blanket aura. When we feel good, others want to get in there and feel good too. So we are a life force, feel good energy. We are that power boost. We're awesome. A lot of times people get a little like, "Oh, I'm just a generator." I'm like, "Girl, you are a generator, right? Be happy about it." Super magnetic aura, we draw all the right things, people, places, things, opportunities to us. We just got to get out of our own way and get out of our heads. We're built to work, but again, work is not a dirty word. It's a beautiful thing. It's like it's love. It's like we're devoted to something. Find the work that lights you up. Find the thing that gives you energy. And if it's not a job, it's like hobbies, just the ways that you get to spend your time, right? That maybe one day for me, perfect example doing this. This is the stuff I've always been into. And for the longest time, it was just my side thing. It was my hobby. I had no thought, no plans, no whatever that this was ever going to be my profession, but I put so much love into it and studied day in, day out, over and over and over. And then one day it's like, this is my job. So keep going. Put that energy into what you love, and you will truly generate more loving, positive, feel good energy. We're meant to be masters of our craft. Like you said, it's like I study this stuff day in and day out every day. I love it so much. So it's like, what are the things that you love that you'll go step by step. You're in it for the long haul. Generators, it's the long game for us. Putting energy and effort into what we love, we're going to grow it, right? So don't be discouraged that it's like, I've only got a little seed. You're like, girl, you're growing a beautiful garden. It just takes time. We experience those plateaus. Don't give up, right? We have a tendency to do that before we reach mastery. It's like if you love it, keep going, keep tending to that garden. It will bloom. Strategy and authority, right? We wait to respond. Responding is the whole thing is not a passive act. There's never not something to be responding to. And it's teeny tiny things. Don't be distracted. It has to be something really big. It's little things, the little breadcrumbs that are being left for you on a frozen, next right step. What is the next little breadcrumb? Is it choosing, sushi at lunch? I love sushi. Is it like sushi over the pizza? Right? You're like, yes, that is a thing that's putting a smile on my face right here, right now. Guess what? That is the next breadcrumb that has your name on it. Follow it. And then our authorities, we're either going to be emotional authority, which is I need time to get to neutral clarity. Meanwhile, knowing that, I'm gonna have that gut reaction, but my big boss is my emotions over time, 80% neutral clarity or your sacral. And that's just, hey, I'm a simple creature. I go with my gut, my excitement, my happiness, moment to moment. And I pay attention to when I have those little contractions or the big contractions. And I don't go that way. I don't choose that breadcrumb just because my mind is telling me that I should, or I feel obligated, or it's my duty, what have you.
All right, that's the basics of your human design energy type. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's a lot of info, but at the same time, we only just barely scratched the surface of your incredibly unique design. The most important thing to remember is that it's a science experiment. Like, take this information into your everyday life and play around with it. Did this leave you hungry for more? I would love to work with you on a much deeper level. You can book a one-on-one with me. Plus, I have classes, trainings, and all kinds of other offerings coming very soon. You can stay up to date by following me on Instagram at Michaela McLean. My link tree is always current, and you can sign up for my free 23-page guide to human design basics that covers all the energy types and centers and whatnot. I also have a podcast called Beauty by Design, which I highly recommend as an educational resource. We get into things way deeper. And plus, there's beauty meditations, beauty rituals, and interviews with my friends in the aesthetics industry who also love human design. So, again, thank you for joining me. And until next time, have a beautiful day.